Ugra Pariprcha Sutra, or the Inquiry of Ugra. Instructions to the lay bodhisattva, the practice of taking refuge. O eminent householder, a householder bodhisattva, while living at home should go to the Buddha for refuge, go to the Dharma for refuge, and go to the Sangha for refuge. And how should the householder bodhisattva go to the Buddha for refuge? O eminent householder, by forming the thought, I must attain the body of a Buddha, ornamented with the 32 marks of a great man, and by exerting himself to acquire those roots of goodness by which the 32 marks of a great man will be acquired. In this way does the householder bodhisattva go to the Buddha for refuge. O eminent householder, how should the householder bodhisattva go to the Dharma for refuge? O eminent householder, with reverence and respect for the Dharma, having the Dharma as his objective, desiring the Dharma, rejoicing and delighting in the pleasure of the Dharma, being intent upon the Dharma, inclined towards the Dharma, with a propensity for the Dharma, protecting the Dharma, aiding in the preservation of the Dharma, dwelling in the accomplishment and practice of the Dharma, mastering the Dharma, seeking the Dharma, having the power of the Dharma, having the sword which is the gift of the Dharma, doing what is to be done with respect to the Dharma, and by having those qualities, bearing in mind the thought, having awakened to the supreme perfect enlightenment myself, I must rightly share the Dharma with the world, with its gods, humans, and asuras. O eminent householder, this is how a householder bodhisattva goes to the Dharma for refuge. O eminent householder, how should the householder bodhisattva go to the Sangha for refuge? O eminent householder, if he sees monks who are stream enterers, or once returners, or non-returners, or arhats, or unenlightened ordinary persons, or members of the Shravaka vehicle, the Pratyeka Buddha vehicle, or the Mahāyāna, with reverence and respect towards them, he makes the effort to stand up, speaks to them pleasantly, and treats them politely. Showing reverence towards those he meets with and encounters, he bears in mind the thought that, when I have awakened to supreme perfect enlightenment, I will teach the Dharma which cultivates in others the qualities of a Shravaka or a Pratyeka Buddha in just this way. Thus, having reverence and respect for them, he does not cause them any trouble. This is how a householder bodhisattva goes to the Sangha for refuge. Breaking family ties. O eminent householder, the householder bodhisattva who lives at home should bring forth 3 thoughts towards his own wife. And what are the 3? The thought of her impermanence, the thought of her unreliability, and the thought of her changeableness. O eminent householder, the householder bodhisattva who lives at home should bring forth these 3 thoughts towards his own wife. O eminent householder, the householder bodhisattva who lives at home should bring forth 3 thoughts towards his own wife. And what are the 3? The thoughts that she is my companion in happiness and enjoyment, but not my companion in the next world. That she is my companion in eating and drinking, but not my companion in experiencing the ripening of actions. And that she is my companion in pleasure, but not my companion in suffering. O eminent householder, the householder bodhisattva who lives at home should bring forth those 3 thoughts towards his own wife. O eminent householder, the householder bodhisattva who lives at home should bring forth 3 thoughts towards his own wife. And what are the 3? The thought of her as impure, the thought of her as stinking, and the thought of her as disagreeable. O eminent householder, the householder bodhisattva who lives at home should bring forth 3 thoughts towards his own wife. And what are the 3? The thought of her as an enemy, the thought of her as an antagonist, the thought of her as an executioner, and the thought of her as an antagonist. O eminent householder, the householder bodhisattva who lives at home should bring forth 3 thoughts towards his own wife. And what are the 3? The thought of her as an ogre, the thought of her as a demon, and the thought of her as a hag. Moreover, O eminent householder, the householder bodhisattva should not bring forth the thought of excessive affection towards his son. O eminent householder, if he brings forth the thought of excessive affection towards his son, while not doing so towards other beings, he should reproach himself with 3 reproaches. And what are the 3? Bodhi belongs to the bodhisattva whose mind is impartial, not to the one whose mind is partial. Bodhi belongs to the bodhisattva who strives rightly, not to the one who strives wrongly. And Bodhi belongs to the bodhisattva who does not make distinctions, not to the one who makes distinctions. Thus, having reproached himself with these 3 reproaches, he should bring forth the idea of enemy towards his son, thinking, he is an enemy and is not dear to my heart. If for his sake I bring forth excessive affection towards that son of mine, while not doing the same towards other beings, I will be deviating from the training prescribed by the Buddha. For his sake, I have damaged my roots of goodness and have heedlessly endangered my own life. Therefore he is harmful to me. For his sake, I have followed a path that is not in accord with the path of Bodhi. Therefore he is my opponent. When visiting the monastery. O eminent householder, if the householder bodhisattva wishes to go inside a monastery, he should remain at the monastery door with a well-bred mind, with a dexterous mind, with reverence, respect, faith, and veneration, and should prostrate himself towards the monastery. Only then should he go inside the monastery, and he should reflect to himself as follows. This is a place for dwelling in emptiness. This is a place for dwelling in the signless. This is a place for dwelling in the wishless. It is a place for dwelling in loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. This is a place of practitioners of meditation, a place for those who have cut off all places. This is the place of those who have truly gone forth and have truly entered the path. When will I be able to go forth from the dusty place, the household place, and conduct myself in this way? And when will I be able to take part in the activities of the Sangha, the activities of the Posada ceremony, in which monks recite their vows fortnightly, the activities of the Pravarana ceremony, at the end of the rain's retreat, and the activities of paying respects? And so thinking, he should rejoice in the thought of going forth as a monk. For no bodhisattva who lives at home has ever attained supreme perfect enlightenment. Those who have done so have all gone forth from the household, and having done so, they have thought of the wilderness, they have had the wilderness as their goal. And having gone to the wilderness, there they have awakened to supreme perfect enlightenment. And it is there that they have acquired the requisites of enlightenment. When he goes inside the monastery, he should do homage to the marks of the Tathagata, and having done homage to them, he should bring forth 3 thoughts. And what are the 3? 1. I too should become one who is worthy of this kind of worship. 2. Out of pity for living beings, I should bestow my own body. And 3. I should train and make efforts in whatever way will cause me to quickly attain supreme perfect enlightenment, and to do the deeds of a Buddha. And by having experienced the parinirvana of a Tathagata, to cause others to attain parinirvana. Instructions to the monastic bodhisattva, the importance of wilderness dwelling. Moreover, O eminent householder, the renunciant bodhisattva, having seen its 10 advantages, will not abandon wilderness dwelling for as long as he lives. And what are the 10? He will see that my mind becomes happy and comes under my control. Being without the idea of mine, I will become free of grasping. Lodging will be given to me in abundance. I will not be devoid of delight in living in the wilderness. With respect to dwelling places, I will have few objectives and little to do. Casting off my dependence, I will have no regard for body and life. Being happy alone, I will abandon noisy gatherings. I will give up the goal of attaining qualities produced by actions. In accord with the practice of samadhi, my mind will become one-pointed, and my attention will be wide open and without defilement. O eminent householder, having seen these 10 advantages, the renunciant bodhisattva will not abandon wilderness dwelling so long as he lives. Moreover, O eminent householder, The renunciant bodhisattva who lives in the wilderness should think to himself, "Why have I come to the wilderness?" And he should reflect as follows: I have come to the wilderness because of being frightened and afraid. Frightened and afraid of what? Frightened and afraid of noisy gatherings and of associating with others, of desire, hatred, and delusion, of pride, conceit, and the disparagement of others, of covetousness, envy, and jealousy, of sight, sound, sense, tastes, and touch objects, of the Mara of the skandhas, the Mara of the defilements, the Mara of death, and of Mara himself, of mistaking the non-eternal for the eternal, the painful for the pleasurable, the selfless for the self, and the impure for the pure, of thought, mind, and consciousness, of craving and samsara, of hindrances, obstructions, and obsessions, of a false view of individuality, of taking things as me and mine. In short, being frightened and afraid of paying attention to all unvirtuous things. Being frightened by such frightening and fearful things as these, I have come to the wilderness. One cannot be freed from such frightening and fearful things as these by living at home, living in the midst of noisy gatherings, living without making efforts and without exerting oneself in yogic practice, and while directing one's attention improperly. For all the bodhisattva mahasattvas who have appeared in the past have been liberated from all fear after dwelling in the wilderness, and thus they have attained the fearless state of supreme perfect enlightenment. Avoiding contact with others. Moreover, O eminent householder, the renunciant bodhisattva should not be in close contact with many people. He should think to himself as follows: I should not bring forth the roots of goodness for just one being. Rather, I should bring forth the roots of goodness for all beings. Nonetheless, O eminent householder, the Tathagata has permitted the following 4 kinds of association to the renunciant bodhisattva. And what are the 4? To associate with others in order to listen to the Dharma, to associate with others in order to mature as beings, to associate with others in order to worship and revere the Tathagata, and to associate with those whose spirit of omniscience is uncontaminated. O eminent householder, the renunciant bodhisattva is permitted these 4 kinds of association by the Tathagata. O eminent householder, this being the case, the renunciant bodhisattva should be free of all other kinds of association. The ordination of Ugra and his friends. Then with one voice Ugra and the other eminent householders praised the words of the Blessed One, and spoke to the Blessed One as follows: It is amazing, O Blessed One, how the Blessed One has spoken so well about the faults, obligations, and activities of the household life, and about the advantages of the good qualities of the renunciant. O Blessed One, now that it has become clear to us the extent of the faults and bad qualities of the household life, and the endless advantages of the qualities of the renunciant, O Blessed One, please let us go forth and receive full ordination in the well-taught Dharma and Vinaya taught by the well-gone one. When they had spoken thus, the Blessed One replied, O eminent householders, the renunciant life is difficult. One must keep one's conduct perfectly pure. When he had spoken those words, the eminent householders replied, O Blessed One, it may be true that the renunciant life is difficult, but we ask the Blessed One to allow us to go forth. We ask to be allowed to exert ourselves in the Blessed One's teaching. And the Blessed One allowed them to go forth. Then the Blessed One said to the Bodhisattva Maitreya and the Bodhisattva Sarvacharya Vishuddha, Good men, cause these eminent householders to go forth and ordain them. When the Blessed One had spoken, the Bodhisattva Maitreya presided over the going forth of 9,000 eminent householders, while the Bodhisattva Sarvacharya Vishuddha presided over the going forth of 7,000 eminent householders. And upon the teaching of this Dharma text, 1,000 living creatures brought forth the spirit of supreme perfect enlightenment.